All right, what is going on, Laker fans? Thank you very much for tuning in. Appreciate you guys being a part of the post-game show. Another L for the Lakers. Lose to the Clippers, 116-102. Intuit Dome here right now, actually at the arena. I got really no way of angling this thing, so I'm going to have to roll with this as my my backdrop. Appreciate you guys being a part of the show. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of bitching and complaining tonight, and I'll probably be on top of that list as well. Lakers at one point down 26 to the Los Angeles Clippers. Biggest lead Lakers had in tonight's game against the Clippers, 2. That's the biggest lead that the Lakers had. For a quick second there, some Laker fans who were here at the arena started getting excited because Lakers went on a run. Even after that run, they're still down double digits. So another L for the Lakers. A lot of question marks for the Lakers. Probably one of the more frustrating things watching in this game is watching Ivica Zubac on the other side. I know a lot of Laker fans, we see this guy, and every time you see him, you say, wait a minute, why isn't he a Los Angeles Laker? So we'll get into it all. If you guys have thoughts, comments on the game, you guys want to react, this is the platform to do it on. So feel free to throw your comments in, and I'll do my best to get to them. If you throw a super chat, greatly appreciate it. If you don't, all good. If you can just subscribe to the channel, is all I'm really asking for. Okay, let's get started here. I will tell you guys, I went live a little bit late just because I was trying to get set up here. But something to keep in mind, as soon as Coach talks, whenever JJ Redick talks, we're going to go right to JJ Redick because in games like this, I definitely want to get his opinion. I don't really know what to tell you guys, just never in the game. And this is just another one of those games for the Lakers where they're playing a good squad and a good team. You guys remember that record? I don't know what they are right now. I think Miami might have been over 500, but the record Lakers had was 7-14 versus teams over 500. It's really just a terrible stat to have. And as you look at, obviously this roster and this team right now, and you're trying to analyze, okay, well, what's wrong with the Lakers? What are they doing wrong? Clippers just played tougher, played stronger. They have an identity. They actually play defense. I think the Lakers go on these lulls. I was sitting here with some other media people, and a couple different times I'm like, when this team faces adversity, there's just absolutely no fight from this squad. And, okay, maybe you got a little bit of it in the fourth quarter, but it was too little too late. It's not like anything was going to happen. The game was never really in jeopardy in that second half. They went on a run. I think they outscored the Lakers 13, 15 points, something like that before the first half ended. And once that happened, that was it. It was a wrap. There wasn't really too much more to talk about. That probably is one of my more frustrating pieces with watching Lakers basketball is a lot of lack of fight. They seem very disconnected a lot of the times, and they seem disconnected on offense. They seem disconnected on the defensive side. And you're watching a team right now. The record's not awful, 22-18. I mean, it doesn't mean that the Lakers are, out of the mix and they're not going to make the playoffs. But I think when you do watch them, it's a very fair, easy question to ask. Is this team really going to be in any position to be competing this year? I'm going to cut myself off here real quick because I do want to get to, as I mentioned, I want to get to JJ. Give me 2 seconds while I set this up. Let's get JJ's thoughts. He's going to have his opinion. Here's JJ Redick on the Lakers' loss.
Or a day, I don't know. I've had it before, so we'll see.
Gotcha. What did you make of the first half and just how it seemed like Clippers are scoring pretty easily? Obviously, scored a lot. You made a push in the second half, but where did you see things go awry in that first half?
It was one of those games where you want your offense to help your defense, and didn't make shots, turned the ball over. So, I thought we did a good job. 11 possessions of zone in the first half. They scored 8 points. We did a good job of mixing it up. There was some, great team. I consider them a great team. They have Hall of Famers. Zubac is a monster. I thought he was, in some ways, the difference.
That
with
hurts.
His
Every time I hear that. How'd they trade him?
Second half. Gave up 9 offensive rebounds in the second half. He had 6 of them. But against great teams, you make mistakes. You don't get a loose ball. You don't get the defensive rebound. They make you pay. Every time we made a mistake, they made us pay. but our guys competed. We fought. We stayed together. This is for us, like, this was a good process for us. Didn't get the result we wanted. Did some really good things in the second half. That's a real defense. They have a real defense, and they're physical.
JJ, I know you've said to us, identities within teams tend to come and go, and you might have one for a month, then it goes away. You mentioned that. I mean, they are very much who they are. Did you see that kind of play out? I mean, just like the way they're sized, the way their intention.
Yeah, I saw it early in the season. They were one of the 3 games that I watched, actually. Inside joke if you were at our scrum the other day. Watching them on tape, because a lot of times, we're obviously playing opponents that they've played. They're a defensive team with an offensive engine and a bunch of guys who play their roles really well. Then you add Kawhi to that, and the guy just doesn't miss. If he gets to a spot and shoots the ball, I don't care how good the defense is. I don't care how good the contest is. He doesn't miss. So, yeah, they certainly have an identity, and this was like a James Harden game. Got him inside the line. He obviously hit some threes. We did a good job outside of 2 plays, keeping him off the line. I thought Gabe did a good job with the side contests. The Harden contest, you can't contest straight on against him. He'll draw the foul. Doesn't have a super efficient shooting night, but he gets 12 assists and manipulates the game and all that stuff. So they're good.
For your group,
I'll pause it here for a quick second. I'm going to mute it. I'll go back if I go back and he's still talking, we'll play it. I get it. I understand that the Clippers are a good team, but a lot of conceding here. A lot of, they do this great. A lot of, they have an identity. It's on the defensive side. A lot of complimenting towards the Los Angeles Clippers. I mean, I the Clippers postgame show here or the Lakers postgame show here? I kind of got an issue with that from the standpoint of, here's another game where you get an opportunity to kind of see where you're at in the league. And by the way, Kawhi Leonard, as great as he was tonight, is also on a minutes restriction, only played 24 minutes. So it's not like Kawhi is playing 35 minutes or anything along those lines. It's James Harden and a ton of role players. I know Norman Powell's having a tremendous season, but at the same time, why are we making it sound like it almost makes it sound like the Lakers didn't have a shot in this game? JJ saying that they're a great team. All the things that they do well. They did this great and they did that great. I mean, at the end of the day, is it more about what the Clippers are doing or what the Lakers aren't doing? Because if most teams like the Clippers can just kind of dictate whatever it is that they want, when are the Lakers going to start beating some good teams? All right, let me see if he's still going. No, he's not, as commercials are playing here. Yeah, I just I don't know. That one doesn't do anything for me. That chatter, that conversation doesn't do anything for me. And maybe it's JJ Redick who's trying to kind of not be too hard on the team. And maybe it's JJ Redick saying, all right, what are you going to do? Clippers are a lot better than we thought they were. Or maybe at this stage, clearly the Clippers are better than the Lakers. But this was also a Clippers team that didn't have Kawhi. Kawhi's only played in a handful of games. I don't think he's played more than 7 games, if it's even that. And they look more connected. They're a much better team defensively. The fact that they have James Harden on their team and they found a way to have an identity on the defensive side, not that that's Harden, that's obviously a lot of these other players, but that's with Paul George leaving. Ivica Zubac, I saw this in the comments a lot, and I heard him say it before the game. JJ said something about Zubac that it's the best season that he's ever played, and it is. But if you look at just his stats tonight, Zubac, he outplayed AD. 21 points, 19 rebounds, 3 block shots, 9 of 16 from the field in 35 minutes. AD, 16 points, 10 rebounds, 5 of 14 from the field in 37 minutes. Also had 3 blocks as well. If you got if Lakers are losing the battle between Anthony Davis and Zubac, by the way, Zubac plus 18, Anthony Davis minus 18. If they're losing that battle, they're losing the game. And that's not even a knock on Zubac. Zubac is a walking double-double. He's 14 and 12 a game with, I think, a block and some change. I don't know exactly off the top of my head. I think 1.2, 1.3 blocks a game, something along those lines. But if you're losing that matchup to the Clippers, well, how are you going to win? There's already going to be mismatches in other places. They already play like they're more connected than the Lakers play. That's I'll say this: losses come. My issue sometimes watching Lakers basketball is just the lack of fight, the lack of continuity. They don't seem connected. There are times where they get punched in the chin and they're like, "All right, now we're good. We want nothing to do with this fight." Granted, they were down 26 and they did make it, I wouldn't say interesting. Interesting to me is it's a 5-point game, something along those lines, but it wasn't. But it's just another, I don't know, you just kind of walk away after watching this team. There's a lot of times you walk away and there's nothing. You don't feel a certain way. You don't have a certain confidence about this team. And we could sit here and we could say, all right, well, this is going to eventually happen. And if this player comes back and if, I feel like I've been saying if all season. All right, let's see some of these comments here. You can trade whatever you want. LeBron is the culture, and it's a losing culture. Okay, let's go off of this here for a quick second. Sometimes I get these, LeBron comments from people, and I don't know if I ask enough of the masses. Is the problem LeBron? Is that what you guys think? Is the franchise where they are because of LeBron? And I think people are going to make that case. They're going to say, Al, he's, 40 years old and he's not the same player that he used to be. And he still has so much power and control. And he's stopping the Lakers from this or that or whatever the case is. If you feel that way, that's fine. I don't have a problem if somebody has that of a thought. But go ahead and put it in the comments, because sometimes I see comments like that. And I don't know if the masses feel that way, if just a couple people feel that way. Clippers over the Lakers, easy money, never a doubt. Can't really argue that one. I didn't like the Lakers' chances coming in. Clippers are a great team. And that's not Brian's quote. That's J.J. Redick's quote. And I think Brian was taking it from that. All right, let me come a little bit further down here to the bottom and see what we got here. I want some LeBron takes. I don't mind the LeBron takes. Let me go back to this one here. Zoo, plus 18, AD minus 18. I thought plus minus was a dumb stat. That's what you said when LeBron had a bad minus. Well, first off, I'm the one that pointed out the plus and the minus. So it's not like I didn't see that it's relevant. What I have said is it's a stat that sometimes is misleading. I don't think tonight's it was misleading. I think Zubac, if you heard me 3 minutes ago, I was talking about how I thought Zubac outplayed Anthony Davis. And if Anthony Davis loses the matchup at the center spot against the Clippers, then how are you supposed to beat the Clippers? So we're really not disagreeing all that much, to be honest with you. Okay, let's see some of these Bron takes. Okay, I got one here. I think LeBron should retire. Yes, I do think LeBron's a problem. Absolutely. Okay, it's LeBron's contract, $50 million a season, hurts our roster. Okay, let's get another one. Face it, man. There is the LeBron biz. The franchise revolves around him. All right, I will say, I will say this. We're obviously in the absolute tail end of LeBron James' career. Do I think LeBron is still going to be playing in a couple of years? Probably not. Do I think LeBron is, the complete issue of this team or the roster construction or everything else that is going on with this team? No, I'd always look at the front office before I look at an individual player. Now, granted, I do understand LeBron is LeBron James, and he's not like every other player. But at the same time, that front office, obviously, they're the ones who determine and decide who should be on this team. They were never not going to give LeBron a contract, period. Anthony Davis, I mentioned he got outplayed tonight, but by Ivica Zubac. Let's hear what he's got to say.
So many, simple mistakes. Little game plan discipline, fouling James Harden a couple times. They got some offensive rebounds. Anytime we made a run, they made a run of their own. And we shoot the ball well tonight, so they like to fight, but against teams like that, pretty good teams. We have a great stretch, and then we have 2-3 mistakes in a row, and they capitalize every time. So got to play great basketball when you're playing good teams like that.
JJ just told us that we've heard you guys say it in here too, that the margin of error for you guys just isn't there on a night-to-night basis, and you have to play really good basketball always, or else it won't be easy. What do you think needs to happen for that margin of error to get a little wider? What are the things that this team has to do nightly to give itself a more consistent, good chance?
Not turn the ball over. We can't control makes or misses, but some nights we struggle to shoot the basketball, and some nights the ball goes in for us. I think defensively we did a pretty good job. Got back in the zone, and I think in the third quarter they kind of came out prepared. We got some. Obviously they made some shots, but kind of ran his action. With Zoo in the middle and Kawhi underneath the basket. Put some shooters around and they made some shots. But I think it's laying our hats on defense. Like I said, you can't control, makes or misses, but you control your effort on defense. And I think, we have had some slippers defensively, but for the most part, the fight is there, the effort is there. We just got to do a better job of getting more stops in a row, especially against teams like this.
How did you come physically after
one more
being the late scratch against Brooklyn the other night?
It felt good enough to play, but it was all right.
Is an extension of the issue that really got propped up against Detroit earlier in the year.
And you've been competing against Zoo for a long time. How have you seen him grow from when you first started competing against him to a game like tonight?
He's worked on his post game. Getting to that jump hook. He's always been a good screener, good roller, live threat, offensive rebounder, good rim protector. But he's developed his post game where they're throwing it to him, and he's finishing with his right hook. So he added that to his arsenal.
And you guys had that 13-2 run to close the third, the two big lineup, you and Jackson, LeBron and 3. What did you like about that group as JJ kind of tests out some bigger lineups?
It just made us bigger. They were small, especially with Zoo. Zoo out. Even if he's in, we were able to kind of manipulate that with two bigs and kind of punish them in the paint and get stops defensively with our lens. So it was good, but it's a game by game scenario.
I will stop it there. It's interesting about that question. That question was from Jovan, and it's about the big lineups. I wonder if Anthony Davis, I'm sure he is behind the scenes, is saying we got to get another big. We got to get another big. I was looking at this, by the way, just to frustrate myself. I'll read some of these comments here in just a second. I was looking back at the Zubac trade, and I get it. This was 5 years ago or whatever the case is. So it's not like maybe even longer than that, probably close to 6 years ago. I think he was traded in 2019. But think about how much we talk about how bad the Lakers need this second big, a guy that can give them, that can be there with Anthony Davis, has the option of taking AD down to the 4, can do a lot of the dirty work, but can also be a real presence and really kind of complement what Anthony Davis brings to the table. Literally what we're describing, there's nobody in the market that the Lakers are going to get that would be better than Ivica Zubac. And I think every time we watch the Lakers, we remember it was that Mike Muscala trade, if you guys remember. I think Michael Beasley and Ivica Zubac went. Mike Muscala came. And you sit back and you kind of think about when that trade went down. We literally gave the Clippers their starting center for the last 5 years. That's how good and important Ivica Zubac has been to the Clippers. I'm not telling you that they've won 2 championships. I'm not trying to overreact here. But that's how perfect of a player he is to the Clippers. And literally what the Lakers have been looking for the last 2 years is Ivica Zubac. So, yeah, that part of it is very interesting. I know that part of it is always going to be a frustration for Laker fans. But exactly what the Lakers need is Ivica Zubac. And until they find a player like that. And the only reason I mention that, too, is you listen to Anthony Davis talking and AD kind of getting into it about what Ivica Zubac has done and kind of his development. And then the question about, hey, what did you like about when the Lakers went big with Jackson Hayes? I'm sure he is hoping and praying that the Lakers can get a big. You know, last week when I had Dan Weike on of the LA Times, he said that a guy like Miles Turner could potentially be available, but it's not going to be until closer to February 6th. That's when the trade deadline is. So that would obviously be the time that happens. But, nonetheless, I think it's clear and it's apparent that trade is one of just the freaking worst trades. I know Zubac is not an all-star and a Hall of Famer, but he's a really good big. I mean, listening when I was setting up here for the post, I had a Spectrum on, so I'm listening to Spectrum while all this is going on. And the compliments they were throwing at Zoo, compliment after compliment. Yep, this is what this guy does. This is his game. This is how great he is. This is why he's good. Everybody was throwing compliments to Zoo. All right, let me look at some of these comments here. Let's get a couple of these. Let's go to Hookah Kings Rentals. I think that's what it says. I told y'all dudes, LeBron is washed. The Lakers won't win anything focusing and building around a 40-year-old. Thank you for the super brother. I appreciate it. Well, I don't think they're trying to build around him. I think they're trying to squeeze as much as they possibly can, out of him until it's over. All right, let me go to this because Bron's talking right now, and then I'll start looking at some of your comments. Take a listen.
Seeing what Kawhi had to go through this summer where he left you guys and wasn't able to go to Paris and then obviously missed in the first portion of this season, what was it like to have him back out there and competing against him?
Well, I mean, listen, for me, it's always great to go against the best. And I know I don't have that many opportunities to continue to go against the best, so it's great to have him back out there.
You've been telling us that the margin of error is small in this room for a few years now.
Yep.
Are there ways they can get bigger internally?
Bigger or better?
Can you give yourself more margin? Are there things that you can do to make it easier? That's how our team is constructed. We don't have room for much error.
That's how our team was constructed. Wow. You guys hear that? That's how our team was constructed. We don't have margin for error, room for error.
That's the way our team is constructed. We have to play close to perfect basketball. We know the game is never perfect. It's never going to be a 48-minute perfect basketball game, but we can't combat it multiple possessions in a row, or if we turn the ball over, we have to do a better job with that. If we're making
that's a shot
turnover plays where we're trying to make the right play to our teammates, but it's some of the careless ones. And then defensively, we can't have breakdowns. We can't, if our coaching staff has a game plan for us, we can't break down on the game plan.
It's happened for stretches like you guys have had, 3 weeks where you guys.
You're gonna hear that quote a lot tomorrow.
Stretches where you guys have been pretty bad. Is that, you think, because of what we're talking about with,
No,
it's impossible to consistently play here?
No, I don't know the answer to that, but we just got to keep putting our foot forward and keep working.
It's NBA, the rivalry week. You have this matchup here with the Clippers tonight. With your career, you had so many rivalries when it comes to teams and individual play. Just how important is rivalries to the game of the NBA and when it comes to the growth of the league as well?
I don't know. I know marquee players and transcendent players and generational players is very key for the league. Great teams is key for the league. And being rivalry is all part of sports. It's not just the NBA. It's everywhere. It's in every sport that you could think of where everyone has a rival or have had a rival. But, you just, it's always fun to be a part of one. If you have an opportunity, if you have an opportunity to play at the highest level and be able to be a part of some rivalries, it's always pretty cool.
Last question.
What do you make of James Harden's kind of impact, the ability to still do this at a high level at his age, but just his overall impact on basketball the last decade, just the offense that he kind of used up?
Simply just a great player who loves to play the game. Plays at his own pace, and has won every stop that he's been at. Obviously the Brooklyn thing was a quick stop, but you look at OKC. I played against him, when he was super young and I was younger. In the finals, went off to Houston. We know what he did down there. And went over to Philly, played some great ball, and here playing great ball. He's a guy, just a selfless guy. Go out there and just plays the game. He's been able to reinvent himself. I mean, it was at one point where he was giving guys 50-point triple doubles, 60-point triple doubles. Now he just plays the game in the right way. He can score when he wants to. He finds he's always been a great passer. So it's pretty cool.
All right, I'm gonna stop there. I won't do any more of the interviews. I think we're good there. I'm gonna start focusing on your guys' comments. Let's let you guys kind of vent. Whatever it is that you guys want to talk about, throw it in. I'll get to it. All right, let's get to a couple here. I did mention this. I wonder how much of a theme this is, but I did mention LeBron a little bit earlier. So let's read a couple of these. We're gonna sit back. I just gotta pop our feet up here, almost like I pay the rent to this place. Intuit Dome, by the way, I got to tell you guys about the arena here. I don't know if you guys have come to a game here. First time I've been here, I had no idea what was going on, where to park, all that stuff, where the hell media room is, everything else. So first time I've been here. Pretty nice arena. I mean, it's brand new. It better be nice. So I'm not too surprised or shocked about that, but pretty nice arena. All right, let's read this comment right here. LeBron, be a leader, take some responsibility. What he just said about the front office is very interesting. The way this team is constructed, we got no margin for error. The way this team is constructed, the way we're playing ball right now, the way this team is playing basketball, we just don't have margin for error. We're going to get a little bit better as the season goes on. Maybe we get some guys that we need. He said the way this team is constructed, we have no margin for error. So that's a shot at your front office right out the gate. And maybe it's a shot at go find a way to improve this team before February 6th rolls around. But that's an interesting quote. That wasn't massaging it by any stretch of the imagination. That's an interesting quote. All right, let's see what else we got here. Bron can't take responsibility for terrible personnel moves. That part's true. Bron is not the problem. I got to be honest with you. I don't see a lot of comments, and probably not enough, that says, guys, this is not a Bron issue. This is not on LeBron. I think most of the time it's people going at LeBron rather than defending LeBron. If I gave you my opinion on LeBron, he's 40. I'm not expecting. There are a lot of times I'm surprised about what he's doing because he is 40 years old, but I'm not expecting him to still be doing what he's doing at age 40. Like somebody pointed out earlier, I mean, the problem with the Lakers is they don't want to, they don't want to hit the reset button. Let's just put it that way. And I don't feel like they have a say in the reset button until LeBron decides what he wants to do. So Lakers are just going to ride this thing till the absolute end with LeBron. And that's clearly their strategy. Whether you like that strategy or not, that's clearly the Lakers' strategy here. All right, let's see what else he's got here. He's played like he's 28. Listen, what he's doing right now at 40 is unbelievable. But he's not playing like he's 28. That's just physically not possible for him. Defensively, it's not possible for him. A lot of turnovers. Can't dictate the games the way he's been able to dictate the games in the past. So I know we want to kind of think and see as if he's got the capability of playing like he's a 28-year-old. He doesn't. So let's not pretend like he does. All right, let's see what else we got here. Bron and passive aggressiveness goes together like peanut butter and jelly. Oh, that is his style. DFS is invisible. Wow. Is that what he had tonight? I didn't even look. Let me look here real quick. Dorian Finney-Smith, 22 minutes, 0 points, 3 assists. The only time I saw Dorian Finney-Smith in this game was when Kawhi was scoring on him. And I mean that. The only time I saw him is when Kawhi was sizing him up and doing whatever he wanted to do against him. Damn, that is not a good stat line. You cannot have a stat line like that if you're Dorian Finney-Smith. You just can't. That's awful. That's really, really bad. All right, let me look at some more comments here. I'm going to go back a little bit. Well, this kind of ties in. It gave up D'Lo for nothing. I really hope that's not the case. I mean, damn if that's the case. All right, let's see some more here. Redick sounds like the manager from Office Space during press conferences. All right, let's keep going. Let's go towards the end here. Do you think we need a third legit star or extra pieces that fit? I don't think we have a way of getting a third legit star. And let me tell you something about why I would make a case for a third legit star. And I'm not telling you they're going to do that. I'm not telling you it's the best strategy. But if we're talking here about LeBron being 40, that you need less and less on his shoulders, maybe that means what you're hoping for is if you got another really, really good player, then LeBron now kind of takes another step back because you're not depending so much on him. Now, I don't know if LeBron can do that. To be honest with you, I don't think he's got it in his head to ever take a step back. It's just he hasn't done it his whole career. So how the hell is he going to do it now? Not at this stage. I don't think they're going to get a third star, nor I don't think it's possible for them to do it. And I think if they were going to do it before, and if they thought that was going to be the game plan, they wouldn't have traded D'Angelo Russell. They'd have held on to that contract and that expiring contract because that contract was very, very valuable if you were going to go get a third star. Face it, we don't have 2 stars. Dorian Finney-Smith got 1 steal. Don't forget that. My bad there. I should have pointed that out from the beginning. All right, let's just talk a little BS here. The team just they don't feel like a team that's, when the dust settles here, that they're going to really truly be competing. The good news for them is you got so many other teams in the Western Conference right now that are just all over the place. I mean, Dallas is all over the place. Only because they're injured. Dallas is a legit team, but they're injured. I don't know what your confidence is in Minnesota, but they just look like an average team. Sacramento's an interesting team. They're 9-1 in their last 10 games. They fired Mike Brown, and Doug Christie's just kind of all of a sudden got this team playing. So we'll see if that continues. Phoenix is all over the place. Golden State is all over the place. San Antonio is, incredibly young, and they were actually 3-7 in their last 10. The only thing the Lakers really honestly got going for them is a lot of the teams behind them are not playing that good either. The West, what we thought was going to be this solid 8, 9, 10 teams in the Western Conference, that's not the case at all. You basically got 4 good teams in the West. Dallas will be good again as well once they get healthy. All right, let me look at some more of these comments. Houston is good too. I agree with that. But that's the problem here. George, you're saying that you hope that the Suns lose, need help on the scoreboard, everything else. The problem is if your team is waiting for other squads to lose, it's only a matter of time until you're, actually part of the, or it's only a matter of time until you're not part of the mix anymore. So I don't think that's, I know what you're talking about. You want them to lose because it is helpful in the standings, but at the end of the day, you're either helping yourself or you're not. And if you're depending on other teams to help you, that's not a good strategy. All right, let me see if I could flip this thing around real quick. See if I can show you guys. I'm going to see if I can show you guys a little bit of the arena here. One sec. No idea what I just showed you guys. No idea. Let me tell you guys a little about into it, though. tell you a little bit about Intuit Dome. You know what? Pretty solid arena. It's actually really nice. It's beautiful. You know, Inglewood's got this whole new setup now with these two stadiums. You got, you know, obviously SoFi, and now you got this stadium. It's actually pretty solid. I don't really understand the concept of the wall. I get what they're trying to do. I just don't think you could do that in the NBA. I don't know, you know, maybe during a playoff game, that place is going to be packed and it's going to be buzzing and everything else. But the reality is, you play 82 games a year. Who the hell's coming out here? I mean, even this game for the Lakers-Clippers, which I'm sure is a big game for the Clippers, it was just a regular atmosphere, regular environment. So I don't know if that whole wall strategy is going to work. It's kind of cool the way it's set up. You know, when you're out on the court, you kind of walk in from the media, you're on the court, and then you got to walk up to your seat. But when you're out on the court, there's this like, wow, it's kind of daunting. Like, damn, that's pretty cool. But again, when you're playing the Charlotte Hornets or the Portland Trailblazers or the Utah Jazz or, you know, pick whatever team, I don't know how much impact that's going to have. But the arena, pretty nice. Pretty nice. I saw Ballmer, and I genuinely saw Ballmer. He was right in front of the media room. He was walking wherever he was walking with a group. And I just kind of wanted to yell, you know, toilets, you know, and just see what he would have said. Would he have acknowledged it? I also wanted to tell him, like, hey, Steve, I'm going to be counting all these toilets here. Kind of calling him out a little bit. You know, hell if I know if it's the most toilets in the NBA. I just know that when they were building this thing, it was like a sign outside that just said toilets. And there wasn't even a toilet there. They were just promoting that they got a lot of toilets. All right, so that's my take on the arena, the toilets. Staples was made with the rich in mind and regular fans last. Intuit, complete opposite. Yeah, listen, I don't know what to tell you. The Laker fan base is as big of a fan base that you have in all of sports. I think they've always kept the entertainment side in play. But the Lakers are just going to be a tough ticket all the time because they just always had stars. So, let's see what else we got here. We need a little help from the refs in the next game. Seriously. By the way, these are all like, every time I look at this stuff, it's like now we're depending on the refs, depending on other teams losing. Kind of a losing strategy there. You can't have that. I heard it's pretty steep, so even far up seats are fairly closer to court. It's very steep. Yeah, it's definitely a different style. You know, most of these stadiums that you have, they kind of go out. This stadium just kind of goes up. But yeah, I don't know if that's going to work. I don't know if it's going to work from the perspective I'm talking about in regards to the environment that they're trying to create here. Ballmer would have said, yeah, man, you're right. Yeah, he's very, very passionate about it. All right, let's get a couple more of these in. Couple quick reminders here. Lakers got, by the way, what a bad weekend for the Lakers. They beat Brooklyn by 1, who lost to this Clippers team by 59. They barely beat them. You know, they got lucky that D'Lo missed that final shot. And then, you know, obviously this game against the Clippers tonight. Standings for the Lakers. So where are they sitting? Clippers are now in front of them in the standings. Clippers are 24 and let me make sure that's right. 24 and 17. Lakers are 22 and 18. So they're a game and a half behind them. Dallas still in the mix, even with all these injuries. So Lakers are just probably going to fall further and further away from, you know, those 2, 3, 4 in the standings, which not that anybody thought that Lakers would get there. To be honest with you, I'll take a 6 seed. 6 seed, if they're top 6, and then you might get Memphis in the first round, that would be probably the best case scenario for the Lakers in regards to that. All right, let's see what else we have here. Let's see these. Tough to keep track right now. Ballmer has a toilet app that tells him how many times each toilet is flushed. No question about it. Loves the toilets. He definitely's got something with the toilets. All right, I think we're Lakers are going to fight for 10th. You know, I put out a video. Actually, I just took a clip from what I did on Friday, and I said put up yesterday, and I was asking Laker fans, is this team an in season a play-in team? It was a conversation I had with Dan Weike on Friday. So I'm obviously asking that question. And when I put that up there, you know, kind of in my head, I'm just kind of curious. All right, where are Lakers on that? What do they feel? I think a lot of people, there's probably like a 50-50 where there's a lot of Laker fans. I'll read some of them. One of those comments said, they've been a play-in team for the last few seasons, and Rob has barely made any roster changes. Therefore, they continue to be a play-in team. I got a very difficult time trying to argue that. Here's another comment that I was reading from that. When watching the top teams in the league, OKC, Cavs, Celtics, etc., most teams ahead of the Lakers, there's one glaring difference, and that is speed and athleticism and youth. Houston is like that. Lakers have had incredible success against Memphis, but Memphis is like that. Yeah, you look at these teams, they're running up and down the floor. They play defense. They got athletes. They got guys that can play two ways. They got a lot of wings. None of that is the Lakers' strengths. I'm actually very curious tomorrow to see how much of a story that Braun quote was. Is it a story or is it nothing? You know, I'd be curious to see what that looks like. Chiefs, Bills, Commanders, Eagles, picks, please. I mentioned this a couple times that I like the Eagles to come out of the NFC. I'll just pick Eagles to win the Super Bowl. Just try something different. Lions choked. Everybody saw that yesterday. Okay, here's what I got going on tomorrow, by the way. Tomorrow I'm back on at 8 a.m. For those who thought I'm not off tomorrow, so just so everybody knows, I'm going to do a live show tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Got a lot of good stuff to get into. You know, we'll continue to talk Lakers basketball. I'm sure by the time tomorrow morning comes, I'll have some topics that are different than what this post-game show was. So we'll spend a little time on that. Talk NFL football. Talk about the Rams' loss to the Eagles. Had a chance. Had some opportunities. Some key mistakes. Some key turnovers. We'll talk about that. I'll spend some time talking about the Dodgers doing nothing all offseason. Dodgers have done nothing. They just that franchise just is in complete flux. They don't know what they're doing. So we'll spend a little time on, you know, obviously what they were able to do over the weekend, as I begrudgingly admit that they're just freaking unstoppable right now. So we're going to talk about all that, and I'm going to do it tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. So if we got a couple last comments here, I'm going to throw it up. I'm going to call it a day. Would Charlotte give up LaMelo for 2 first-rounders, Rui, Max, and Connect? No, they would not. That's one of their franchise players, so no, they would not. By the way, that's got to be one of the worst franchises in the NBA. That team always sucks. Always. Zubac had 8 offensive rebounds, dominated the Lakers. All right, my people, I think that's all we got. I'm sure I'm going to get kicked out by somebody here shortly. They're probably like, what is this idiot doing? What does this guy think he's doing? He could just come in and do a Laker post-game show in our building? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? I appreciate you guys hanging out. Thank you for being here. Please subscribe to the channel tomorrow, back on at 8 a.m. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for being a part of the show. Get the hell off my channel. Get the hell out of here. All right, y'all. Have a great rest of your night. See you tomorrow morning.